it is me, Yang. Hi, 8-Bit Crab. Hi, Spoolicious. Hi, Jomaxro. Hi, Lithek. Hi, Hyrule Symbol. I am always streaming on Thursdays unless otherwise notified. So, yes. Today, I am going to be hooking up the new templates that Ali made for the Potter and the Weaver. So we'll be able to have these Rise Children templates be unlocked if you have a Potter or a Weaver. Jester says that and you always start later. Is that true? It is not on purpose. Alright, so the first thing you do when you need to add a new template is you go to mods. You go to your mod and find a place where you want to store all your templates under. I put mine under saved objects. Building templates. Ah, tier 2. So these are the tier 2 building templates for Ascendancy. And then Rise Children are going to be somewhere else. So if we open up another one, we go to mods and we go to Rise Children. And then we go to data, saved objects, building templates. So here's Rise Children's building templates. So we copy and paste this one in there. And then I like having everything have underscores because underscores will make our lives much easier later on, especially if we go into Linux where nothing requires underscores. Haha. Weaver's Hut. Hi, Hello Kills. Weaver's Hut. Okay, cool. Now that we've renamed those, we go to the Pottery Studio and we're gonna have to rename this preview image to just be File Pottery Studio. And then the name is going to be Pottery _ Studio. We're gonna have a different display name for it. Display name, and it's going to have the display name of Pottery Studio. Great. And then we go to the other one. Weaver's Hut. Okay, Weaver's Hut's image is going to be File Weaver's Hut.png. The name is going to be Weaver's Hut. So this name is actually the name of the file. It has to be exactly the same. And also I think it has to be lowercase, but that's weird. I forget the exact naming convention that needs to be used, but I use a naming convention, so Weaver's Hut. Okay, so we have these two done, and then so these will hook up correctly, and now we need to put them into the list of all building templates. So here it has town, and we can take a look at how the Ascendancy does it with the Ascendancy building templates. So town, it has a carpenter house with an unlock requirement. So we're gonna do that here. And so instead of the carpenter house, it's going to be the Pottery Studio. The unlock requirement will be that you have a potter job, building templates, Pottery Studio. There, naming conventions makes everything easy. You can just copy and paste. And then instead of Pottery Studio, this will be Weaver's Hut. Unlock job Weaver's Hut has jobs Weaver. Okay, and then we will test this by having a main mod. No, download the squirrel one. Main mod will be not micro world. Main mod will be auto tests, don't hurt tests, and then we need to specify our test world. Test world should be Potter test. Hero Symbol says, what will we be doing after templates? We might take some photos of the templates. Hi Canna CX0. There are also some bugs with template unlocking right now that I'm trying to figure out. There it is! Yay! Pottery Studio. Oh, that's adorable. I get it. Isn't that cool? And then there's the Weaver's Hut. Okay, so that all works. I was making some code fixes, so I need to check to see if those made it in. Because yes, so those did make it in, which means I need to sync my build real quick. But before that, let's check in what we have, which is the hooked up versions of the pottery stuff. Oh jeez, stuff to kill and destroy. That didn't work out very well. I was trying to rename all of the variables that a common misspelling is destroy gets turned into destory, which is bad if you're actually trying to destroy something because it's spelled wrong and the code doesn't care, right? If you spell it wrong, then it just won't actually do anything. Okay, hook up Weaver's Hut and Pottery Studio to be unlocked with Potter and Weaver for Raya's children. Commit this. Pull my changes. So this ended up being faster than normal, faster than I thought it would be, but it should be fine because we still need to get some good screenshots of these, and we need to test that everything works. So yep, nothing here, and then we want to promote someone to a potter. I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way to make sure everything works well in the game. There's a potter talisman, and then we need a weaver talisman. Alright, so promote a person. You're a potter now. Hero Symbol says, you said Mally is our new animator. You said that Mally kind of discovered more things we could do in animations. What would those be? Yay, Pottery Studio. It has been unlocked because we have a potter. Build it. Well, can you remember? Do you remember my exact wording for it? Because I'm not exactly sure which time you're referring to. So I mean, we're doing more idols for people so that you know, if your workers are just walking around and stuff, they will, or if your workers are idle, they will play more animations than just, you know, swaying their arms and looking around. Proton Gaming says, are you sure you want the name of the game? Yes. So I will say that the name of this game does cause a lot of confusion. So that is a concern of ours. Hey Vox Neutron. It is one of those unfortunate situations where you make a Kickstarter and you say, you know, this is going to be the name of the game, and then another company a year later says, we're going to release this game now, and you know, you had no idea. So everybody's building this Weaver's house, or no, not Weaver, Potter's. This is the new Potter house. Just like the Carpenter house. Actually, no, it's called a studio. That's how you know it's fancy. Hyrule Symbol says, when you first came, you said he asked if they could do this or that, and it was interesting, but I guess nothing really was implemented yet. So Linda is working on some of it. Some of it is like animations for when your Earthlings first start to do a task, like when they first move off to go chop down a tree, etc. You know, to play a little animation, like they roll up their sleeves first and then they cut the tree down, just to give it a little bit more like they have a personality and they actually have feelings. So that one Linda is working on. A lot of the visual stuff Linda has helped to implement, which is really awesome. And then the other stuff is we do have, and this is work in progress, so I guess it will be newly heard. We do have Linda's also working with Mally on technology to get the Earthlings to talk to each other. So they'll like walk up to each other and then play some like talking animations. So in the future, your Earthlings will be able to talk to each other. Yes. It should probably, I know it will build because Ali has made sure that all of these do build. The difference is like, I just like watching them do it because it's fun. Bruno Supremo says, talking about animation, I noticed that when harvesting anything renewable, they use the animation fiddle and it is hard-coded. Is it? Let's do that now. Renewable resource component. Harvest renewable resource adjacent. Run effect fiddle. You are right. We can change this. It'll be just like the other one. Harvest resource node adjacent. So effect equals effect equals get harvester effect. So we can do that. We get harvest status effect, harvest overlay effect, get harvest effect. The animation to play when you try to harvest something. So this one is JSON.harvest effect or fiddle. And then the resource node component has the harvester effect, get JSON harvester effect, or fiddle harvester effect. Harvester effect. One of the things I wish I did was to just save off the JSON instead of doing these variables, because these variables don't need to be on everything. The JSON is actually shared between everyone, so it's actually more efficient to have this variable not exist. Harvest status text. Harvest status text. Okay. JSON. JSON harvester is self dot underscore JSON dot harvest status text. Self dot underscore JSON dot harvester effect or fiddle. Get harvester effect. Harvest overlay effect is also a thing. Return self dot underscore JSON dot harvest overlay effect. Okay. So then this effect will be harvest renewable resource. It will be factory dot get harvester effect, and now effect equals get harvester effect. There we go. What do I need to do? Let's run harvest test real quick to make sure that works. So here, let's say you're harvesting this guy, you run and you play fiddle, but if we do the prickly pear, prickly pear dot JSON, pear plant, shed. Alright, I need to run shed from the file real quick because things have changed and I need to rerun it from Visual Studio. Oh, is it called pear cactus? Oh man, inconsistencies in naming. Oh well, I guess it's technically a pear cactus. And then the plant is a pear cactus, and the pear cactus drops prickly pears. Pear cactus. Okay, so now we have a harvester overlay effect, harvest plant overlay effect. Harvest. And then if we do the harvester effect is chop. Oh man, it doesn't auto format anymore. That is way unfortunate. So now if we rerun this, oh, hey, they rebuilt the house. Hooray. Do I not have a potter? I do not have a potter. That's unfortunate. Oh yeah, I do. I should have a potter, and the potter should have placed should have automatically queued. Oh, the potter has no clay. Clay mound. There it is. Just put in a bunch of clay, have the potter make it. Oh, it also needs stone. Hunk of stone. Oh no, everyone's hungry now. Cornbread. I was asked what my favorite food in the game is, and I said cornbread. Because who doesn't like cornbread? Okay. I will look at the resource thing again after I make sure that they actually put in all of the Potter stuff. Yep, there's the Potter's wheel. Great. Text. Potter workbench. For making symmetrical clay goods. There we go. Now it'll be slightly. Now it'll be slightly better, and then we'll run the game again. See you later, 8-bit crab. Alright, prickly pears. Prickly pears, we made it so you chop them down. Let's see what happens. Harvest it. Is she gonna chop? Yep! There you go. She chopped it down. So there. Now it works. Let's check that in. We don't want the pear cactus to look weird. So we want to modify these two. Actually, there's some places in here where we want the JSON. JSON. Okay, so that is me fixing up the rest of the code to save off the JSON, which is going to be a single pointer, I believe. Radiant entities get JSON. Let's see if that is correct. Get JSON. Says get component data. True for cache result, false on error. Okay, great. So this will do the correct thing. And I just need to make sure the game doesn't crash if I try to harvest all of these. There you go. Yep, so she does fine, and so everything is good. We check this in. Allow JSON to specify a harvesting effect for renewable resource nodes. Change renewable resource component to save off pointer to JSON instead of getting it each time. The pointer is more memory efficient than saving off variables individually. Awesome. Okay, and then wow, this is very slow. Potter wheel description was too long. Cool, so that all looked like it worked. We need one more for Rise Children build test because we need to test the Weaver. So let's test the Weaver. So here we want to see that, nope, no town templates. We promote a person to a Weaver. There he is, and then there's the Weaver's hut. And so the Weaver's hut will need Weaver workbench and clay oil lamp, which we don't have. Huh, that was weird. go back here. Oh, you have to scroll down. I see. So this one needs a bunch of stuff, so we'll actually need a potter to help us finish the rest of it. Let's put down some clay around. And we'll need potter, kiln, potter, workbench. There we go. And now we need the workbench of the weaver as well. So for that we need silkweed. Silkweed bundle. Bunch of silkweed bundle. Alright, there we go. And now we start building it. Watch them go. This is the Weaver's Hut, or yeah, I guess it's called Weaver's Hut, that Ali created last stream, which was yesterday actually. So she finalized it. I think she still wanted to like add some more Weaver tapestries and such, but for the meantime we will just put in this one, and I will update the template if she decides to put more stuff in it. Bruno Supremo says you also need the potter. So the potter, I made the potter because the potter makes the windows and stuff, and I just wanted an easy way to determine whether I had all the stuff ready. So you technically don't need the potter, but then you won't have like the windows and stuff. Oh, and Chris fixed the problem where they can't place the windows. He made it so you can place the windows from one block lower. Man, lights are hard to come by. Clay, oil lamp, clay wall lamp, on fire clay vase. Clay lamp. There. I don't know if that'll mess them up or not. There. Now it's a little bit more soothing. You're gonna build this wall. And the roof. And they're gonna build some of the roof and then fall down and then build more of the roof. Ah, that roof just appeared. I think that was Chris's magic build. So Chris did a whole bunch of math and determined that figuring out whether a building can be completed is actually very, very hard. Like there's actually a word for it in mathematics or computer science, and it's called NP hard, and it basically means like we cannot do it in a good amount of time. Given infinite time, we can do it, or a very long time. Like we can't do it in polynomial time, basically. And polynomial time is like you know, well, maybe you don't know. I have a hard time explaining some of these things because I learned them in school, and you know, eventually they just drill it into your brain, and then you're not really sure what, when you explain it to others, what they know and what you don't know. Maybe we should have put a light in here or something, because it is gonna be kind of dark. But yeah, I love this hut. It's adorable. And it's got this like 2-story thing. So you go in from over here. Right, you go in from over here and then you craft stuff. So for example, if I tell the weaver to make me some thread, the weaver's gonna go in. Like, he has to go in through over here. Yeah. Oh, that's so cute. Weaver level 1! Okay. So, we've confirmed that this works. And now we have the difficult time of taking the photos, which Stephanie does a good job of. And I'm not actually sure if it would be a good idea for me to do it. Did I change anything? No, I did not change anything. Oh, but I do have to make localization. So I added display names for all of those. But the display names need to be factored out. So here it took the display name and it made this key to it, and then this one also has a key, and we'll put it in en.json. Localization for building templates. Cool. So that part's done. So I guess we can work on bugs next, or I can take some photographs of the new templates. What do people want to do? Or I can continue debugging this crazy code that I've figured out, and it's gonna be very boring if I decide to do this one. So someone chime in with either a bug that they would like fixed or something else. Jester says, how about clay roofs like the stone, wood, and thatch ones? Salmorg says, if you're crafting 10 thread, is there a worker / potter who will take the thread from the weaver and take it to the stockpile? This is so the weaver can start working on the next thread. So I find the easiest way to do that is to put like an urn or a large is to put an urn or one of these crates in the house next to the weaver, and then they can automatically put those items they can automatically put their thread away immediately after they make it. Jester says, how about clay roofs like the stone, wood, and thatch ones? Are you talking about in the building designer where like if you have some roofs, you would like the clay brick roof to also have some of these the peaked one? You would like a peaked clay roof? KSP Cosmonaut says bug fix. I can bug fix. If anybody has a bug they would like to link me, I would be happy to take a look at it. I know there's been a bunch of them on Discord, so I've been incrementally going through them and figuring out which ones would have the biggest impact. Sure, we can do a thatched clay roof. So the way you would do that is you would look at building brushes and then look at how the other roofs work. So here's wall, here's roof. So here's the thatched peak roof and the wooden peaked roof. So then you go to your manifest, You look for the wooden peaked roof, and it's wooden peaked roof.qb. So then what we need to do is go to this location here, which will be under Stonehearth data mods Stonehearth, and it'll be / data builds wooden peaked roof. So here's the QMO. Hi Dovakin. So this is what that roof looks like. And then we need the colors of clay. I don't know if we have colors of clay. Do we have brushes? Roof. Red clay roof build prototypes. Would you like a roof that is the same color as the wall, or would you like to pick up for us to pick out more colors? Like what colors would you like the roof to be made out of? I suppose what we could also do, so this is one pattern. So these are for the size of the building. So if we had this, and then we had the walls, this one has this pattern, this one is this pattern, and this one is this pattern. TimberW says the red clay for one. So you would like to have a roof that is thatched and made out of this red clay. Okay, well, the way to do that is you copy this and you go here. There. This one, we add the colors of the, first we clear the color map, yes, and then we add colors of selected matrix, so there's only 2 colors there. We will save this as Stonehearth data mods Stonehearth data build brushes roof, and this will be new folder clay peaked clay red clay peaked roof, and then this will be red clay peaked roof. And we'll save it as that, and then we'll come in here and we'll replace some of these colors. So what do we want here? We actually need one more color. This one is Korma clay and cocoa brown wood. So maybe we keep the wood and we put in the clay colors. So let's say we replace the clay, we replace all of this outer one with this lighter red, and we replace the inner one with the darker red. So that means we do that, and then this outer one will have the lighter red. Come on, there we go. That's one. We filled this one. Come on. Double click. So much double clicking. Click here. I don't know why it forces me to double click all the time. Hello? There we go. Then here. Okay, there we go. And then we save this and we export all, and it's gonna be a QB. Save it, Oh god, that was awful. Export all. It's gonna be a QB. It's not gonna have the .obj in it because cubicle constructor, come on. Right-handed RGBA custom, no compression, co-visibility mask. Okay, great. So here we will call this one the clay slat roof. This one is the red clay. What did I call it? Red clay peaked roof. Oh geez, it's now exported in the wrong place because if you don't set up cubicle constructor correctly, that's what happens, which is why I made shed, because this thing drives me crazy. Let's go to data, build, brushes, roof, red clay peaked roof. Okay. Red clay peaked roof. So red clay peaked roof, red clay peaked roof, and then we're gonna go here and we're gonna do roof clay peaked resource, and we're gonna do type is flat. And it's gonna be a red clay peaked roof. Gonna be I guess I will need to have a picture for that, which we can do later. Red clay peaked roof. Alright, let's see how horrible this looks. Lord Sub says, would you please explain what the multiplayer will be like? So we're not going to work on multiplayer until single player is done. As such, it is also very much an experience we would like to ask our players about in terms of what you all think would be the type of multiplayer experience you would want. There it is. Clay peaked roof. It's got some wood in it though, so maybe we don't actually want wood. But that's how you get the dark brown color. Baker's chocolate. I could change it to Baker's chocolate, but that's a little bit... it's not. I can make it more reddish, or I can make it more yellowish. I don't know. What do people think? That is a red thatched roof. There. It's super red. And it's got some wood in it, I think. Hello Kill says, those look great. Alright. Good enough for government work. Then I go to, so I need to make these images, so I need to go to /Stonehearth UI game modes, blah blah blah, which means I go here. And I go /Stonehearth UI game nodes build brushes. There's the peaked roof. There's the peaked roof source. So there's the color. What's the color of this thing? Can I paste it in here? It is 1 pixel big. Thanks. Alright, what color do I want? I want this color. Where's this number? Blah. So I copy this number and I go over here and I open this, I put this one in, I say okay, and then I fill it. Okay. Then I save this as PNG. I should be able to view red clay peaked roof. So this will be a red clay peaked roof, red clay peaked roof PNG. So we run the game again. Jamaxer says, any chance we'll see loot tables? Oh yeah, that one's done. We're good. Let's see, little playhouse. Oh, we can be like, no, I don't want this. I want a red clay peaked roof. So the colors are Korma, clay, and cocoa brown. Okay, so where are the two colors I used for this? I forget. I guess it's probably Korma and Korma Light. New Amber, Copper Canyon, Baker's Chocolate, and New Amber. Okay, so this is Baker's Chocolate and New Amber. A peaked clay roof made of Baker's Chocolate. Well, it's not actually made out of Baker's Chocolate. What is the phrasing I used? A roof made of Baker's Chocolate and New Amber colored clay with I don't know what color of wood this is. I just don't. Well, let's see what's the other wood. Morocco brown colored wood? I think it's Morocco brown. Morocco brown colored wood. What's Morocco brown look like? Cocoa brown. Punga. Beaster. Morocco brown? Is it Morocco brown? I don't know if it's Morocco brown. Like, is that Morocco brown? Or is it some other brown? I guess we'll have to actually take a look at this color. Alright, what color are you? Alright. What hex value are you? I guess that is the hex value. Okay, so what's the hex value for this? What's this display name? It is Bistra. Alright. Bistra colored wood. You all made me add these color names, and now it takes forever to figure out what it is I'm doing. Alright, there we go. Jester says I mostly work with Ghirardelli 60%. Walls that look like this, and then I want a red roof. There. I have a red roof, and alright, can they build it? Should be pretty simple. It's just a square, but let's make sure they're able to build it out of the clay and the wood. Proton Gaming says, does this game have insects? Not right now, although Ali has, when Ali was doing a bunch of what do you call it? What do you call that? Concepting. Yeah, that's a word. When Allie was doing concepting, she made a bunch of different monsters and sketches, and we haven't implemented all of them yet, but one of them is like a little pill bug creature, and I really want that in the game because it looks like another good like alternative to the Entlings for the Rise Children Desert, which I think will be super cute. It's like a little pill bug. Jester says, make sure it requires clay. Yeah, so it requires clay because of the color, so every color has to match a single resource, so it will require clay, but it also requires some wood because I chose to match the brown, and I feel like there wasn't a good color other than the brown, so it's gonna have some wooden stripes in it. We're talking about someone that needs to be remade. I don't know. Who are we talking about? And I guess I have to scroll up in the chat to know what people are talking about. Something about her limbs. I'm a little concerned about that one. Proton Gaming says, does this game have weather changes? So, weather is planned. We're not sure when we'll get to it yet. I would like to have the core game be really good in terms of like, even if the seasons don't change, it should be fun, and then we'll add seasons and it'll be even more fun, right? Proton Gaming says, does it have a public API to make anything I want? So we do have modding support. Our documentation is not the greatest right now, but it's also an alpha game, so but if you go to our forum, which is stonehearth.discourse.net, or if you just go to our website, stonehearth.net, and then you go to the, there's the dev blog, there's the community forum is a really good place. There's a lot of people who mod there, and then there are people who will be able to help you on your way to making a mod for the game. I would say start out by, look at that, they have to make this out of wood, so it's like wood. Okay, yay, now they're thinking about... Wait, why did you just drop... She just dropped... She was carrying... She's carrying a door. Alright, now we're gonna have this problem because she's stuck inside. I really would like it so that we can put doors on things after the fact, you know? I feel like it shouldn't be too hard, we just make a cutout. Like, I feel like we can just immediately make the cutout. Oh, everybody's asleep. Proton Gaming says, where are the min specs to run this game? We do have min specs listed on the website somewhere. It's... if we go to... Getting Stonehearth. You can buy it from here, or you can get it on Steam, and if you go to the Steam website, we have a min spec on the Steam website. Where's our min spec? It's totally in here somewhere. Stonehearth, about this game. System requirements, here we go. 4 gigs of RAM, dedicated graphics card, 500 megabytes of available space. I do recommend a good graphics card, decent. NVIDIA, AMD cards give us a little bit of a hard time, but like they'll run. I've had people run it on Intel graphics. Jamaxro says technical stuff under explore. Ah, yes. I guess we do list it in 2 different places. Sorry, I'm not the website management and it really shows. I just work here. Synchrofy says it's always AMD. Well, it's always difficult, right? Because you have 2 different graphics card driver providers, and so they're always going to be a little bit different, and then you're going to have to and you know, because those two are the main ones. One of them is gonna be worse than the other ones, or equal. But in general, someone always comes in last just by the nature of how life works. Alright, so I added a red clay peaked roof. Build a manifest. Alright. This computer is very slow today. I wonder what else it's running. Adding a red clay peaked roof. I need to run this by Ali just to make sure it's okay. I don't want to ruin the like Rise Children aesthetic or anything. And then I need to localize it because I added a text string and it needs to be processed out into our en.json. Did that not do it? That did not do it. Alright. So... Alright, I will do it manually. Red clay peaked roof is... There we go. Then I will copy and paste this. And I will put it in here. Red clay peaked roof. Then we'll have to run it one more time just to make sure it still displays visually. So, Proton Gaming, Windows only. Yeah, so we are Windows only, we are PC only right now. You can play the game in Wine. There have been a few people on the forums that have been able to do that successfully. It appears to work with Wine by default. So, there's directions on doing that if you would like. But otherwise, what we really want to do is like focus on making the game good, and then we'll do the ports. So sadly, priorities, because we do not have infinite time. Alright, there we go. So that's localized. I will check this in as localize the new peak roof. Actually, no, let's just amend the last commit, because then it gets to be with everything else. And then now that we have made some things, we will push our changes. Proton Gaming says, what are some known major bugs? If you look at the discourse, there's probably a good amount to go on. I mean, we are still in alpha, so it's it is a work in progress. But if you would like to join in the development process, now is a good time to give us feedback, to shape the direction of the game if you want to speak with all the members of the community. So if you're into that kind of thing, I would say I would recommend it. But otherwise, if you would like to play a finished game and you are afraid that you might get bored of this if waiting for the finished one, so there are some people who say that I'm saving myself for when the game is finished and things like that, and that's totally understandable too. Jester says, I never have any input. I just spent 30 minutes making the red roof for you, dude. Spoolicious says, back in my day we didn't have bugs. We had a graphics test, way less buggy. I think that was Alpha 1, wasn't it? It was more like a graphics test thing. I actually wasn't here for Alpha 1. Those must have been very, at least interesting days. I've never really been on a game project from the very beginning where you don't even have the engine working yet. Maybe one day. But right now I just get to fix an engine. Get the other sheep. Sheep. Harvest the sheep. So this is our auto test for those who are new. Before we check in, we run a series of automated tests that make sure a few core feature sets of the game still work. So this one is making sure she dumps her backpack. This one's making sure water will merge. This one is making sure the wolves will run away. So what we do is we spawn 4 guys, and then we spawn this scenario with the wolves, and then we wait. And we listen for when all of these wolves are gone. Jerry Jokerman. I like playing it as it grows, feel like I grow with it, plus if you appreciate at least a little as someone who plays it, it might provide input, you can contribute to making it better. I think that's a good way to put it. I do understand that it's not for everyone, and it's totally fair. I'm definitely not here to go like, you must buy this product, because that would be mean and disingenuous. I do love working on this game, and I love the feedback from all of you, so if you would like to give me feedback, and you would like to join me on this adventure of crazy bugs all the time, and making red clay roofs, then I would love to have you follow me around. Knuckles says, I've been in the woods for a month, and I come back and I play Stonehearth, and I love the new updates, thanks. Well, great, I'm glad someone's enjoying it. Alpha 18 should be out soon. I don't know if you're playing the latest one or not. We have Building Destruction, which looks super cool. And then we're gonna plan for Alpha 19 soon. I think I'm working on ooh, that's an interesting graphics thing. I should ask Chris about that. Yeah, and then after that, we're gonna start planning for Alpha 19. Spoolicia says, it was pre-Alpha 1, I think. The graphics text was so... RE could get Radiant could get info to optimize the game before the first release. Ah, yes. I remember just getting a game to run on all of the different machine configurations out there is incredibly difficult. Like some of the graphics things we're trying to do will not work on older cards, so we have to make sure we don't try to call things like that in older cards or your game will crash. So, and then there's firewalls. Some machines are running firewalls, and Stonehearth does need to open a port because it is technically client server under the hood, so the firewall might block it. We have a Chrome browser. There are some people who are you know, who have certain things installed on their computer that prevent the Chrome browser from showing up. All sorts of things. Halo Kills, Alpha 18, Stuff and Things. I think we are focusing on Building Destruction, but Stuff and Things can also be a title. Oh god, this particular test, I have such a difficult time with it because it is occasionally possible for you to get a frame of lag while dragging out that box, and then the test would fail. But it wasn't because the game was broken. It was because the test was inconsistent. Inconsistent tests are just as bad as not having a test at all. Jerry Jokerman says, my secret desire? I don't honestly consider it to be a possibility, nor would I think of pressuring anyone either, but I secretly wish Stonehearth team up with Wolfram 1 and combine games with Cube World. So I actually haven't played Cube World. I think I really need to brush up on the other types of games that are in this space, just to see what other things people are doing, and also see what they're doing well. Maybe we can borrow a little bit. Sorry, that was a weird drinking sound. We do try to stick around more. We are here to stay, and I hope we have done a decent job of convincing all of you that we will continue to work on this game. Okay, I'll have to try Cube World out. I was also told to try out RimWorld. I hear it is, excuse me, something we can borrow ideas from, but it's also very sad and involves a lot of limbs. Like, you chop people's arms off, and I think we're definitely not going in that direction for Stonehearth. Jester says, this does be burning Sims to death, right? Well, I think the fact that you get to burn goblins with arrows is way cooler, because you get to target who you're burning. Tamor W says, was that a moving companion cube Stonehearth-sized? Yes, the companion cube is our test object, so you're never supposed to see it in the game, but we use it to do stuff like make sure our sight sensors are working. So that particular test is like you move the cube through the blocks of wood, and then we verify that each wood is able to see the cube as the cube walks by. Jerry Jokerman says, I consider Cube World to be the closest, at least artistically, to Stonehearth, but it's just one man's opinions, and you guys checked his Twitter's preparing a large update relatively soon. Relatively soon. Hi, Weiss. You have made it to the end of the stream. I think I am just about ready to head out here. If you want to see what we did, there is now... I've hooked up the Potters. I've hooked up the Potters building, or Potters Studio. And the Weaver's Hut. Into the game. So here they are. I'm not gonna have them build it again because that takes so long. There we go. They are super cute. Ali designed them. And then you now have thatched clay roofs, because I guess people really like thatched clay roofs. So you can choose this one. It's red. It's a red roof. Nikaville says, I'm trying to do the Ascendance questline with giving the goblins what they want. Not it is asking for some stuff plus oak logs, but the logs I have is not counted. Why? Oh, that's interesting. They should definitely be counted. Unless they are in a Hearthling's backpack. So, Nikaville, if you are running into a bug with that, please do upload it to our discourse, which is discourse.stonehearth.net, and then the developers, you know, maybe not me, but maybe Linda or someone else, will take a look at that for you. Canna CX0 says, someone get Canna's RimWorld mod for Stonehearth. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to think of how you would do that. I think you can modify each person such that you could probably replace someone's hand with like a hook for pirate. That would be cool. And modding that dog. Doesn't the dog like die very frequently? That's very sad. Nikaville says, I have it on vid if it helps. Yeah, if you can link the video on Discourse, that would also help. Spoolisher says, if only we could get the background generator in. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I've yet to play RimWorld, by the way, so I need to actually get on that. I was told by the new designer who will be joining us to take a look at it, so I gotta get on that. Jerry Jokerman says, will there ever be an offensive magic Hearthling? Well, we do have the defensive magic Hearthling, which is the cleric, so that says magic does exist in this world. Whether we do it in the base game or not, I think it's still up in the air as to what jobs we will have in the final game. Yeah, we are getting a new designer. We will introduce you as soon as he's here. Man, this wall is facing the wrong way. These are freestanding walls, so this one should actually be invisible, but the one in the back is instead. Chris says he knows how to fix that. Have to figure it out. Okay, I think I keep alluding to this new designer person. So yes, we have a new designer following us, or who will join us soon. Hopefully I am not spilling too much, but I am super excited that he will join us, because I think with Stephanie being so busy now and Tom and Tony also being busy, the rest of us could use a good hand on someone who will take into account the direction of the game and also help us get the core gameplay loop working. Because right now you can like build a bunch of buildings and the goblins come and attack you, but there's really no game reason to build buildings other than like people want to live in a house. But you can also just make, you know, beds outside and they're perfectly happy. Jamaxer says, new designer like Ali or other type of designer? I mean a game designer. So Ali is our artist, concept artist, and also designing for objects and all sorts of things. And Ali is amazing. But her focus is art. Richard's focus will be on gameplay. So that will be like what makes it fun. What does it mean to have Hearthling morale in the game? Maybe he'll be like, Hearthling morale right now is kind of lame because there's really not much agency, so we're gonna change it up. But what would that new system be like, etc. Dramaxter says, why is Stephanie's workload increased recently? Geez, I think I'm getting into a lot of things. So, Stephanie is now like managing our entire like day-to-day. So she has to be in a lot of meetings, just responding to questions from like whether it's Riot at large to be like, hey, what's the progress of your game, and also hiring. We're trying to get more people into our team, so that's how we got Richard, because I think if we want to get to where we're going with a very ambitious, we have a very ambitious game plan and we need people to help us get there. So we're spending a lot of time like talking to candidates and looking through resumes, and all of that takes a lot of time. Weird Z33 says, are the Radiant Studios accepting applications? Yes, the new guy's name is Richard. Hopefully he won't mind that I have told you all about him. Hopefully. Otherwise, this has just been... Otherwise, don't tell him I told you all about him. So we are accepting applications if you are an experienced software engineer, preferably someone with experience working in games. You can feel free to apply. Although we are owned by Riot, so you will have to apply to Riot. I like these little tan windows. It says this hole in this building is deliberate, but it's the same color as the wall, which is quite cute. Yes, mom's the word. Hopefully I don't get in trouble. I never really know if I'm supposed to say certain things, but hopefully it'll be okay. Maxer says, do you need more Brads? Brad is very experienced in what he does because he used to work at Lego and he was one of the like very senior people there. So Brad is a lot more than a person talking on the forums. He does things that I'm not quite sure of, but I trust him completely to do them. Spoolish says they love Brad and they totaled him. What? Alright, I think I've spoken too much. I am going to go now. Thank you for watching the stream, everyone. Have a good rest of the evening and or morning, depending on where you are. Goodbye.